At Pembrey by James Cole. Last couple of cars into line at the back. What a magnificent sight here at Thruxton. Green flag is waved at the back then. We get the all clear, waiting for the red lights to come on the gantry. They do so. We can see the whole grid leave the line, and Jim Bainham's not got away, unfortunately. He does now. Away go the Adrian Flux MG Owners Club Championship up towards Allard for the first time. It's Scott Bugner who's made the best start. He goes into the lead. Are they all going to make it round Allard? Looks like it. Fergus Campbell up in the second, 3 wide for third. Not a great start for our pole sitter Matt Harvey, unfortunately. He could be down to third place. He could be lower than that. Yes, he's down to about fifth as they head into the complex for the first time. Just look how many cars there are trying to fit through there all at once. Couple of cars running wide further back. One of the Lawsons and Martin Wills in the yellow MGF involved. 3 wide into Seagrave. Riley Price in the blue and pink car being squeezed in the middle. Oh, goodness me, they just about got away with that. It was the 215, one of the Lawsons there, Reese Lawson, the white car getting shuffled back. We've got one car spinning off onto the infield. I think that's James Cole that's gone off. Another car goes across the grass on the inside. Now, has James Cole got going again? Indeed he has. Well, something had to give with so many cars in such smaller space, and unfortunately a couple of the ZRs, no, it wasn't James Cole, I apologise, there's James Cole. Quite a few green cars in the field, sorry about that. We'll pick up which car has gone off. Somebody slowing there, Rob Addison in trouble. Had a couple of wins last season, but he's out of this one. The Maestro being leaned on. Oh, Simon Kendrick and Anthony Bate, that was close. Jimmy Work nearly getting caught up in there as well. Thought they were going to go flying off into the infield. Well, it's just the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars fighting for the lead as we come into the chicane for the first time. Scott Bugner leads. James Cole has gone through into second place. Ewan was right. There's no way I'm going to keep up with this one. Okay, they complete the first lap then. Scott Bugner with the lead. It's Matt Harvey is somehow back up into second, having dropped to fifth off the line. Will Sharp is third. Then it's James Cole and Fergus Campbell. Big winner off the line was 431. That's Chris Lawson. He's gained 11 places on that first lap. It was 215 Reese Lawson who was caught up on the incident there off the start, because he's gone into the pits at the end of lap 1. Okay, so things hopefully starting to settle down a bit now. James Cole up alongside the blue machine there, 68 Lee Sullivan, the former ZR class champion. They've got Doug Cole behind them, father of James, who's in second place. Was in second, he's dropped back now into that pack, so fighting. I cannot keep up with this at all. There's just so many cars to try and keep on top of. Okay, pause for breath. Although not for Doug Cole, because he's run wide coming out of Village there onto the grass. His son James just ahead of him, so he's dropped a couple of places. Huge pack of ZRs head their way through. There's the number 39, that's James Blake. Meninda Golhar up behind him. He's been racing MGs along with other members of his family for many years now. They raced in the days when it was full grids of MG Maestros rather than ZRs. 95 of Jack Meager up the inside there takes 431. That's Chris Lawson. Riley Price in behind him. Then the 24 car, which is Jack Woodcock. Good to see Jack back in the championship for the first time this year. Over the line they go. Golhar behind him. 1 or 2 cars' transponders not working as they cross the line that time, just to confuse things a bit further. The timing screen resets itself. It is still Scott Bugner who has the lead, but we've got a red flag. The red flag is coming out. The race has been stopped. So what has happened? There's something happened over on the far side of the circuit. It looks like we've got a car on its side, unfortunately. I can't see who it is at the moment. Who has not come through? Well, those colours suggest it might be Nick Reynolds, number 27, but we'll await confirmation of that. So the pack brought to a halt. We'll await confirmation of who that car is that has unfortunately had a rollover. We hope the driver is okay. We think it may be 27 Nick Reynolds. But we'll await and confirm as soon as we can. And with so many cars out there, A bit of bumping and boring was perhaps inevitable. Scott Bugner is your race leader. We'll await news from the officials on what's going to happen here. Hopefully we'll see a restart shortly. A couple of cars a little slow away on the inside. Now let's see who's going to get the lead as they head up towards Allard for the first time. Matt Harvey's got it right this time from pole position. Fergus Campbell's come through into second. James Cole side by side for third with Will Sharp, and Scott Bugner almost caught in the middle there as the traffic heads up towards the complex for the first time. Matt Harvey got his start absolutely right this time, and he leads the way ahead of Fergus Campbell. James Cole into third place, and Scott Bugner, who led at the first attempt, is down to fourth this time. Will Sharp is fifth ahead of Tony Wigley, then Lee Sullivan. Doug Cole runs out wide exactly as he did in the first race alongside Jonathan Candler. Maninder Golhar's had a good start, he's tucked in behind them. Then the number 13 having a look up the inside, trying to make it three wide into Noble. That's Luke Boniface. It's this surge of ZRs as they head through Goodwood for the first time. This is where a couple of cars went off on the opening lap at the first time. Asking Jonathan Candler was one of them, but they've all made it through this time by the look of things. Down towards Church Corner for the first time then. Harvey leads from Campbell in second. Fergus Campbell, a Thruxton specialist. Keep an eye on him, trying to come through for the lead. There's Doug Cole, the right-on car, number 99. He's got Luke Boniface on his tail. And it's the 27 of Reynolds in behind them. Up towards the chicane, Fergus Campbell around the outside. He's done the same as the Formula Ford drivers were doing earlier on, that move around the outside to take up the lead ahead of Matt Harvey. Will Sharp darts ahead of Scott Bugner into fourth place. Doug Cole goes over the curve. He's been all over the place on this first lap, and I'm talking of all over the place, Anthony Bate nearly loses the Maestro, ploughs over the grass. Across the line they go then. Fergus Campbell it is who has the lead. Pick up the class leaders a little bit later on. ZR's all the way at the front of the field. Campbell leads into the complex from Harvey, Cole, Sharp, Bugner, Tony Wigley in sixth position. Lee Sullivan, the former ZR class champion, is in seventh, but Fergus Campbell already just beginning to break away very slightly. A man from Surrey, he loves the Thruxton circuits, won here in his Maestro in the past. Doug Cole under fire there still from Luke Boniface, then Nick Reynolds in behind them, and the 95 of Jack Meager, the blue and white machine, ahead of James Blake. It's a train of about 8 or 9 cars out in front here. Great start by Maninder Golhar. Nick Golhar raced a few years ago in the Maestros. Maninder Golhar making up 6 places off the line, helped by a few cars ahead of him being absent on the grid. Charge their way through Church. Up the inside there, the 24 cars. Jack Woodcock, good to have him back in the championship. Had a couple of wins a couple of years back, taking Riley Price there, one of the youngest men in the series, in number 17. Here comes James Cole. He's going to try and have a go for the lead. He wants a third win of the season. Double winner at Pembrey in May. Can't quite get ahead of Fergus Campbell. Harvey is third. And a small gap back to Will Sharp in fourth place. Began the season here as MG Midget, but that broke down at Donington Park. Sliding over the grass there is Woodcock in the 24. Over the line they go. 2 laps completed. James Cole does the fastest lap of the race so far, 1:32.58. Jonathan Candler attacking Lee Sullivan, that's for 7th place. Into the complex, first half dozen or so breaking away. Scott Bugner up on the curb there as he attacks Will Sharp. Will does prefer his classic MGs, but out in the ZR this weekend. Somebody's off, and that's Steve McDermott. Now, he joined in at the second start, but those braking problems I think have struck again, and the reigning champion is out. He tried to get the car back out there. I think he may have started from the pit lane, but he's only got as far as the back of the circuit, and then those braking issues have struck again, so he's pulled it over. Not a good day so far, sadly, for McDermott and Son. Hopefully we'll see them back out for race 2. Through the back of the circuit they go once again. A shame the championship on this record-breaking weekend only does have 2 races, not the 3 we saw at Pembrey. As Maninder Golhar puts a wheel onto the curb there, coming out of Church Corner. Up towards Woodham Hill, then the chicane. Still Fergus Campbell hanging on ahead of James Cole in the lead. Bugner on the inside there, attacking Will Sharp. Very late on the brakes, but he's through into 4th place in the yellow, number 25. who's leading the various classes. Mark Baker leads the MGFs, but Simon Kendrick not far behind him. Class B is being led by the maestro of Anthony Bates, all the way from Cornwall to race here this weekend. And in the classic class, Class A, it's the number 71 of Carl Bates who leads there. I don't think he's any relation to Anthony. But his MGB looking for his first class win of the season. "38 cars out there that took the start of this one, including Steve McDermott, but he's out of it. Adrian Olsen battling away there further back, and Simon Kendrick trying to keep a couple of ZRs behind him. That's one of the Lawsons, 431 Chris Lawson giving chase. The three members of the Lawson family, Chris Rees and Connor, making the switch from Autograss racing this year. Behind them, Darren Leonard in the green ZR, then Martin Wills. Great to have Martin back in his yellow MGF. He used to bring two cars to a meeting a few years ago, an F and a ZR, and switch between them in one in each race. He used to race Lotus Elises as well, Martin Wills. 84 Candler attacking Lee Sullivan. That's the battle for 7th place. Tony Wigley ahead of them in the white car. He's running well on the tail of I think that's Will Sharp. As up the inside, Campbell holds the lead ahead of James Cole. They're side by side on the run into the chicane. Matt Harvey down to 3rd. Scott Bugner running wide onto the curbs a little bit further back as Fergus Campbell defends his lead. It's 4 just beginning to break away very slightly. Trying to go with them is Will Sharp. There's one of the MGBs. It's going to be lap, I think that's Chris Flukes about to go a lap down. The leaders switch their lights on to warn the back markers that they're approaching. 5.5 minutes of this race to go. For the Adrian Flux MG Owners Club Championship, James Cole is in attacking mode. He wants a 3rd win of the season. Chris Flukes moves out of the way in the MGB, lets the leaders through. Out towards no brilliant bright red of Fergus Campbell's car shining in the sunlight. A little cloudier than we expected though here today at Thruxton. Harvey still 3rd, then Bugner, Sharp. And the battle for 6th headed by Jonathan Candler. He's got ahead of Tony Wigley, then Meninda Golhar. Lee Sullivan's lost a couple of spots. Rounding up the top 10 is Doug Cole. His son James attacking for the lead. Matt Harvey just keeping a watching brief in 3rd place, still looking for his first win in the championship. Scott Bugner had a couple of wins last year. James Cole going for the inside this time into the chicane. It's working. Up the inside, takes the lead from Fergus Campbell, and Scott Bugner's done the same to Matt Harvey and got through for 3rd. All change at the front of the field on lap number 5 then through the chicane. It is James Cole that has taken up the running in the green machine. Will Sharp further back in 5th position. The top 4 covered by less than a second as they cross the line. Doug Cole's dropping down the timing screen on that lap. I think we may have lost the number 99 somewhere as James Cole, his son, holds the lead. As Doug Cole's pulled into the pit lane, so he's out of it. James Cole increasing his lead slightly there coming out of the complex. He got the better exit as Scott Bugner got through into 2nd place through there ahead of Fergus Campbell. And now Scott Bugner's going to go after our race leader. That's Harvey down into 4th position. Here's the MGBs, a swarm of bees you might say, coming through the chicane. There's number 11 of Chris Millard. He took the class pole. It's Carl Bates, number 71 in the MGB GT, the orange car there, who leads the class. Chased by Jim Basher Bainham. Been with this championship virtually since it started, and he's going through into the lead of the class, coming up into the complex, I think. Yes, he's done it, ahead of Carl Bates. 3rd place, David Amphlett. Now he leads the championship overall in his MGB Roadster. 4th is Chris Millard, the 4 Bs together. They're ahead of Hannah Leonard. She's 2nd in Class B. Behind the maestro of Anthony Bates. We've lost a couple of cars into the pits. James Wade, number 22, has pulled in. Sean Bugner, Scott's father, number 52, has pulled in. And, oh, we've got cars going off while that was going on. The leaders have had a bit of a coming together. Matt Harvey goes grass tracking. Scott Bugner, meanwhile, has taken the lead. You can't take your eyes off this lead battle. So Scott Bugner now up front. Matt Harvey nearly threw it into the barriers at Allard. And so it's the 25 ahead of the 188s. Third is Fergus Campbell, and Will Sharp has come through into fourth place as a result of that Schmozzle coming through Allard. Well done indeed to Matt Harvey for avoiding the barriers there. I thought he was going to slide off onto the grass and into the wall. So Scott Bugner now has the lead. Here's a battle further back in the midfield. Jimmy Work, Darren Leonard, Simon Kendrick, our Class B leader Anthony Bate in the Maestro. Behind them Martin Wills in the yellow MGF. Jimmy Work. And behind Elixir Inc., a tattooist. He's currently down in around 19th place. Here are the leaders. It's, James Cole has retaken the lead on the run-up Woodham Hill. There's been some contact at the chicane. Who does that belong to? Somebody's lost a bumper. Scott Bugner gets the better exit from the chicane. He's back up the inside. Fergus Campbell trying to make it 3 wide. Look at this. Bugner back underneath James Cole, retakes the lead on the start-finish line. There's less than a minute to go, so we're on the last lap now. Bugner leaving James Cole, nothing at all there. They're not going to go 3 wide into the complex, surely. Matt Harvey's fighting back. He clips the back of Will Sharp. Big lock-up from Bugner, and James Cole has retaken the lead. Oh, there's a tango further back. They have come together. Matt Harvey and Will Sharp. Off goes Sharp. I saw them touch as they came out of Allard. They've touched a little more heavily coming into the complex, and Sharp is into the barriers, I think. So James Cole leads. We're on the last lap now. Let's have a look at that again. Watch the background as the 4th and 5th cars come into shot. Yes, round goes Will Sharp and into the barriers. I don't know if there have been any contact just before that instant. We saw them bump together briefly coming out of Allard. So here come your leaders, and James Cole has escaped slightly. It's all going to be on the final run into the chicane, though. Clock has counted down to 0 in this first race of the weekend for the MG Owners Club Championship, sponsored by Adrian Flux Insurance. So James Cole from Scott Bugner and Fergus Campbell. I think Cole has broken away enough to hold the lead. They're lapping Mount Best's MGB into the final chicane. An incident-packed race, but it was always going to be, has to be said, with such a large grid out there. Scott Bugner will try one last effort out of the chicane, but James Cole moves across, takes the win. Bugner second, just less than 2/10 of a second in it there. Third for Fergus Campbell, Matt Harvey in fourth, Jonathan Candler came through for fifth. Then it was Tony Wigley in 6th place. The next group headed through for 7th by Meninda Golhar ahead of Luke Boniface. Jack Woodcock is 9th. Class F is going to be won by Mark Baker in his MGF. That'll keep him in the lead of the class, but we heard from him earlier, lead of the class in the points, but we heard from him earlier he's not doing the full season this year. Jimmy Work comes home behind him in 16th overall. There's one of the MGBs, that's Robert Fisher, number 72. Number 172, I should say. Lost a fair number of cars into the pits, as I was saying there before the lead battle started to kick off. We lost Alex Forster, Sean Bugner, James Wade, Doug Cole.